After subduing Eretria, the Persians waited a few days and then sailed away to the land of Attica, pressing ahead in expectation of doing to the Athenians exactly what they had done to the Eretrians. Marathon was the place in Attica most suitable for riding horses and closest to Eretria, so Hippias, son of Pisistratus, led them there. When the Athenians learned this, they too marched out to Marathon, with 10 generals leading them. The 10th was Miltiades, and it had befallen his father, Cimon, son of Stesigoras, to be banished from Athens by Pisistratus, son of Hippocrates. It was this Miltiades who was now the Athenian general. After coming from the Chersonis and escaping a twofold death, the Phoenicians pursued him as far as Imbros, considering it of great importance to catch him and bring him to the king. He escaped from them, but when he reached his own country and thought he was safe, then his enemies met him. They brought him to court and prosecuted him for tyranny in the Chersonis, but he was acquitted and appointed Athenian general, chosen by the people. While still in the city, the generals first sent to Sparta the herald Phidippides, an Athenian and a long-distance runner who made that his calling. This Phidippides was in Sparta on the day after leaving the city of Athens, that time when he was sent by the generals and said that Pan had appeared to him. He came to the magistrates and said, "Lacedaemonians, the Athenians ask you to come to their aid and not allow the most ancient city among the Greeks to fall into slavery at the hands of the foreigners. Even now Eretria has been enslaved, and Hellas has become weaker by an important city." He told them what he had been ordered to say, and they resolved to send help to the Athenians, but they could not do this immediately, for they were unwilling to break the law. It was the 9th day of the rising moon, and they said that on the 9th day they could not go out to war until the moon's circle was full. So they waited for the full moon, while the foreigners were guided to Marathon by Hippias, son of Pisistratus. The Athenians were of divided opinion, some advocating not fighting because they were too few to attack the army of the Medes, others, including Miltiades, advocating fighting. Thus they were at odds, and the inferior plan prevailed. An 11th man had a vote, chosen by lot to be Polemarch of Athens, and by ancient custom the Athenians had made his vote of equal weight with the generals. Callimachus of Aphidne was Polemarch at this time. The 10 generals are of divided opinion, some urging to attack, others urging not to. If we do not attack now, I expect the great strife will fall upon and shake the spirit of the Athenians, leading them to Medias. But if we attack now, before anything unsound corrupts the Athenians, we can win the battle, if the gods are fair. All this concerns and depends on you in this way. If you vote with me, your country will be free, and your city the first in Hellas. But if you side with those eager to avoid battle, you will have the opposite to all the good things I enumerated." By saying this, Miltiades won over Callimachus. The Polemarch's vote was counted in, and the decision to attack was resolved upon. Thereafter, the generals who had voted to fight turned the presidency over to Miltiades, as each one's day came in turn. He accepted the office, did not make an attack until it was his own day to preside. When the presidency came round to him, he arrayed the Athenians for battle, with the Polemarch Callimachus commanding the right wing, since it was then the Athenian custom for the Polemarch to hold the right wing. He led, and the other tribes were numbered out in succession next to each other. The Plataeans were marshaled last, holding the left wing. Ever since that battle, when the Athenians are conducting sacrifices at the festivals every 4th year, the Athenian herald prays for good things for the Athenians and Plataeans together. As the Athenians were marshaled at Marathon, it happened that their line of battle was as long as the line of the Medes. The center, where the line was weakest, was only a few ranks deep, but each wing was strong in numbers. When they had been set in order and the sacrifices were favorable, the Athenians were sent forth and charged the foreigners at a run. The space between the armies was no less than 8 stadia. The Persians saw them running to attack and prepared to receive them, thinking the Athenians absolutely crazy, since they saw how few of them there were, and that they ran up so fast without either cavalry or archers. So the foreigners imagined, but when the Athenians altogether fell upon the foreigners, they fought in a way worthy of record. These are the first Greeks whom we know of to use running against the enemy. They are also the first to endure looking at Median dress and men wearing it, for up until then, just hearing the name of the Medes caused the Greeks to panic. They fought a long time at Marathon. In the center of the line, the foreigners prevailed, where the Persians and Sakai were arrayed. The foreigners prevailed there and broke through in pursuit inland, but on each wing the Athenians and Plataeans prevailed. In victory, they let the routed foreigners flee, brought the wings together to fight those who had broken through the center. The Athenians prevailed, then followed the fleeing Persians and struck them down. When they reached the sea, they demanded fire and laid hold of the Persian ships. In this labor, Callimachus the Polemarch was slain, brave man, and of all the generals, Stesilaus, son of Thrasylos, died. Synegiros, son of Euphorion, fell there, his hand cut off with an axe as he grabbed the ship's figurehead. Many other famous Athenians also fell there. In this way the Athenians overpowered 7 ships. The foreigners pushed off with the rest, picked up the Eritrean slaves from the island where they had left them. In the battle at Marathon, about 6,400 men of the foreigners were killed, and 192 Athenians. That many fell on each side.